All right, we're going to go through this title update 1.3 and also the news that Assassin's Creed Valhalla is going to release their Siege of Paris DLC on the 12th. I think this is a real stick in the eye to Sucker Punch and Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. Ubisoft really doesn't want to lose their Valhalla players to the closest thing to Assassin's Creed, Japan. We have Ghost of Tsushima. And so they want to get as many people playing Siege of Paris and busy with that and not enough time to buy and upgrade their Ghost of Tsushima to the Director's Cut and the Iki Island expansion. But we got a lot of content, I think, even starting on Tuesday, July 27th, and this title update came out, it stated July 25th, although it didn't actually come out until July 26th. So title update 1.3. Title update 1.3 will be deployed on all supported platforms July 27th, 2021 at 2 p.m. CEST, that's European time, 8 a.m. Eastern time in the U.S., 5 a.m. Pacific time in the U.S. So tomorrow morning, or as I'm recording this, July 27th, 2021. So patch size, Xbox 24 gigabytes, Xbox One 18 gigabytes, PlayStation 5 6 or 7 gigabytes, PlayStation 4 15 to 25 gigabytes depending on region, PC 20 to 31 gigabytes, main game and season pass. So I guess you're going to get to check below for the most notable title 1.3 changes. New content. Siege of Paris expansion added support for the Siege of Paris, preparing the game for expansion release on August 12th. A separate download is required on the release day. So you're probably downloading mostly Siege of Paris, and then you can unlock it on release day would be my guess. The Seige Festival. So that's the new content that you'll be able to play right away. So this is the third seasonal. There was the Yule, I forget the name of the spring festival, and then now we got the Seige Festival. Limited time event from July 29th through August 19th. Partake in new festivities and quests to receive exclusive festival rewards, including a one-handed sword. There you go. There's our one-handed sword everybody's been chatting about. Players must reach England and complete the first two narrative arcs, Grandshire or Leicestershire, and be at least settlement level 2 to participate in the Seige Festival. Alright, level scaling. We added new menu options to the game to adjust NPC levels to your liking. You may choose from the following options. Off scaling is turned off. Enemies appear exactly as prescribed in the region description. Default lower enemies are brought up to 30 power levels under the player's level, how the game is intended to be played. Right, so if you're in a low level region, your power level 400, they're brought up to 370. Constant enemies will always be the same power level of the player. Harder enemies will be 20 power levels above the player, and nightmarish enemies will be 50 plus power levels above the player. Note, boss encounters and game modes will not be impacted by this, as they're their own intended difficulty settings. So there you go. So it won't affect bosses, just the little guys, even if they're giants. Skill tree update. The skill tree has improved visibility for new skills added through the post-launch. We've added the option that will auto-acquire all skill nodes required to reach the currently highlighted node if you have enough skill points available. Oh, that's kind of a nice update. So you don't have to spend a lot of time getting to a desired skill level. Raven, Lightfinger. Ava will now automatically pick up nearby loot with a quick flick of the wrist without having to press the interact button. And that sounds good. Thrill of War, gain adrenaline as long as you remain in conflict. Okay, so 2 skills there in the Raven tree. Bear tree, Hydrum Slam, press R2 while sprinting to knock enemies back with a powerful knee slam. Eden's Heart, passively regenerate loss after a short delay. So the knee slam probably will look pretty cool. And passive health regeneration, not bad. Wolf survival instinct, when at least a third of the health hold for partial healing. Exchange adrenaline for health. Wolf Warrior, damage increases the lower your health. So instead of being reliant on food, we can rely on adrenaline for health with this survival instinct and Edun's heart. So I think these are also kind of nods to the the health system in Ghost of Tsushima, right, where you have those resolve points, and those are not dependent on food or anything like that. They're dependent on your kills and how you've killed people. So this is kind of a more passive health regeneration system similar to what's going on with Ghost of Tsushima. So game improvements: Wrath of the Druids Expansion 1 address. Priest body would be missing in Flan over Ireland. Cage cannot be opened to free prisoners in Tuam Caves. Only minor runes inside chests in Ireland. Shelf not movable in Cashalore. Cutscene didn't start when sieging the church and the Scourge of Snakes. Couldn't confirmed kill on the Ash. Missing sound subtitles within Wrath of the Druids. King's Pass not collectible if raid is not also completed at the same time. Couldn't collect the prison key in Courting the Kings. Baird vanished in Flan over Ireland. Thorsten teleported back to the cave and snaring Thorsten. Couldn't progress when Puka was killed into the fog. So all those issues supposedly were addressed in patch 1.3.0. Main game, quest world activities and side activities, infinite loading screens during various quests. Couldn't reach War of the Collectors, Alfred's Jewels, Saint Faith, Lost Drengar of Ragnar, Lothbrok, Lamb Chop, Splitting Hairs, world events. So those world events supposedly have been addressed. Faravid would get onto the horse and the son of Jorvik. This son of Jorvik, indeed. Catching the fish with weapons wouldn't count towards quest objectives and Bloody Path to Peace. Couldn't fight Leofrid in Heavy as the Head. Sigurd didn't follow Eivor in A Brother's Keeper, more like a Brother's Lever. Object didn't appear in Twists and Turns. This is how to turn tables. Issues when interacting with Petra in the settlement. Eivor died at Arrival in Hordafildic in the Road to Valhalla. Hunter House didn't even trigger. Hunter and Warlock NPCs missing for the Plight of Warlock. Banshee world event couldn't be started with or completed. Couldn't progress in Mistress of the Iron Wood world event. Couldn't interact with the Seer and Blood and Gods. Returning to Hunwald's house didn't update the Homecoming quest objective. The boss didn't take damage at the start of Extending Family. Hunwald was uninteractable during the salve of a fresh wound. Map marker appeared out of bounds in Fiery Ambush. Couldn't interact with Soma or Guthrum on Holy Day. Players desynced the start of the flight in King Killer. Couldn't confirm kill in Reaver the South. Couldn't complete the Lost Drengar of Ragnar Lothbrok. Guthrum didn't move in Kingdom's End. Couldn't collect the key from the Pilgrim in the St. Albums. Edmund was missing in Puppets and Prisoners. Couldn't confirm kills in Gottfried Fair robes. Nophila Shine-Eye. NPC with the coin didn't spawn or targets didn't appear for the arrow challenge and firing the arrow. Stuck between Blinding Fate and Blood and Gods. A Blinding Fate indeed. Black screen during Baker's Plaint. Couldn't interact with Halfdan in War of the North. Graphics, audio, and animation. Various graphics and lighting issues, various animation and clipping issues, various issues with missing SFX, various issues related to audio menu narration. River Raids, Yums Vikings raids addressed appropriate rewards not being provided after completion of a raid, rations not healing the proper amount of health for Yams Viking, Mastery Challenge ability to restrict areas in Mastery Challenge. Guards could be unreachable in Mastery Challenge. Player being detected from Stealth Bush in the Wenlock Raven trial. Reduced the possibility of doubling armor sets that were acquired from the store after completing the Mastery Challenge during the onboarding quest. Unlocked medals remaining after loading the save game. Trouble entering stealth and in some bushes. Gameplay, combat, and AI. Fire weapons not selecting NPCs or combustibles on fire. Enemies not taking proper damage from level 2 incendiary powder trap ability. NPCs no longer attacking if they're ambushed by Snake. Snake 1, Human 0. Extended flail combo dealt more damage than intended. Sickle combo attacks didn't register properly. Various issues of Viking salute ability. Various issues caused the extended flail combo to do more damage than intended. Austera items missing following title update 1.2.21. I think there was like some flail, like you could use the flails and they could just kill anybody. They just mow through anybody, and maybe that's been addressed. Instances where a world Avor NPCs or the longship would get stuck. Instances where misplaced or floating objects or textures. User interface HUD addressed numerous UI HUD issues, numerous localization issues. Trouble exiting photo mode using the escape button. Some icons not adapting for colorblind mode. Silver booster not applied correctly when looting low value items. System benchmark is not functional when the game path contains non-ASCII symbols. Performance and stability. Improved performance and stability. Alright, so that's title update 1.30. I just think in general that Ubisoft is a lot better than other game companies that I've covered in terms of its competitiveness, that it is really competitive with its close competitor games, such as for instance, CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077, right? That they're really good they were effectively the launch title of the Xbox Series X and S, right? Coming out on the same day. And they moved up their time. I think if it was up to Ubisoft and there was no competition, they wouldn't be coming out with Wrath of the Druids DLC on the 12th, but rather later. But because they want to get the jump on and get people's money in before Sucker Punch and Sony do, they're putting out Wrath of the Druids on the 12th versus the 20th. Or they're putting out Siege of Paris on the 12th versus the 20th for Ghost of Tsushima Iki Island expansion, right? So they want you to be continuing on their live service, which is Assassin's Creed Valhalla is a live service. All those reports of that Assassin's Creed was moving to a live service, Assassin's Creed Infinity, in a few years, they're already there. Valhalla has been a live service, right? With the weekly challenges and everything else. It is a live service. It does have microtransactions. It is, that vision is not coming in the future. It is here today. But I still think Assassin's Creed Valhalla gives you a lot of content for the money, especially if you're not paying those microtransactions. There's no need to pay for those microtransactions. But Siege of Paris, Wrath of the Druids, I think are also substantial DLCs. And if you like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I think they're worth it. I'm definitely going to play both of those DLCs, and I'm also going to play the Iki Island expansion on Ghost of Tsushima. Subscribe to the Linus Wilson channel, where we give you the secrets to crush Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Ghost of Tsushima.